Mowing the lawn can be painful, for some at least, but it doesn't always have to be that way. By the end of this video, I will show you how to literally cut off up to 75% of your lawn mowing work with just up to $30. Throughout all my years of having chickens here on my farm, I've noticed something, is that setting them up in one area and leaving them there for a good maybe 6 to 8 weeks will decrease the grass percentage by nearly 95%. And I can prove this to you. So for the past, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 weeks, we've had them in this general area, except the fence was more expanded this way. And if you notice, there's a sudden cutout in grass right over here. That's because of the chickens. They do several things in this grass too. And here, let me show you. So you have dirt all over the ground right here. And you have really, like, thin grass here. And this area was just covered in weeds. Like, you wouldn't believe how many weeds are here. And this has all been mowed out by the chickens. In here is a really prevalent area. You can see there's like a lot of weeds surrounding it, but there's no weeds internally. That's because the chickens have been in there and just cleaning everything out. They are very helpful little creatures too, and yeah, you wouldn't believe how much they can clean out in here. And another thing they do is they dust bathe, and if you don't know what dust bathing is, it's when a chicken digs a hole and they play around with the dirt in it. Let me show you one example of a dust bath. So if you randomly go throughout your yard and you notice there's random holes like this that didn't appear beforehand, this right here is the cause of a dust bath. This whole area right here was a dust bath. And also areas where they eat have also caused great amounts of damage to the grass, as you can see, as well as the general area of the coop. Now this has also helped also thanks to our ducks, but since we have a lot more chickens than ducks, there's a greater prevalence of them. I'd say it's maybe a 75-25 split. So not only do chickens also mow down your grass, but they also give you eggs, if you don't already know. So follow me into this coop. There should be eggs in these boxes right here, but as you can see, we've already collected them. From a flock of about 1 dozen chickens, like this flock right here, you usually expect to get, I don't know, maybe a good amount of eggs, like probably a total of maybe like 6 to 8 per day in the good days, but this time of year the stuff really starts to decrease. Sorry, my rooster is too loud for me to film around him. That's why I usually film elsewhere. But here we are. So we have several chickens, as you can see. Now there are several types of breeds of chickens that do much better with grazing, but they're all very similar. The ones I think do much better with grazing in our mixture is Buff Orpingtons right here, the yellow ones. Now these chickens, as you can see, they're currently working on mowing the lawn. And if you wonder why they're eating the grass, they're looking for bugs, and while doing so, as you can see, chickens were looking for bugs right here. While doing so, they also picked away at some of the grass there. But it's not the grass the chickens also help you out with. If you notice in this area, there's significantly less leaves than everywhere around. Like sometimes, for some people like me, it's almost scary about that fact. Because there's significantly less leaves here. Not that the chickens are eating them, they're stirring them up to one general area. And I think this chicken can come to agreement with that statement. So, the reason why they do this is because they want grass to graze. And usually from about late April to usually about this time of year, you have plenty of green grass. And when the leaves fall on top of that, which is around this time of year, you have leaves overlapping the grass, and the chickens just want to get to that grass. They push it to a different area. It also has to depend on the trees, but most of the time we get about the same leaves as everywhere. But you can see the leaves are really piling up in this area compared to the number of leaves still on the trees. So this has to be the chickens' like little stash of leaves over here. And I've just been here for a couple of days too. That's incredible, man. Now, if what I just said before really entices you to get chickens, how exactly do you raise them? Well, there are several videos, but I'm going to try to mash this down to like 1 or 2 minutes of content. So, you need a chicken coop. I have chicken coop design ideas video, and I have a how to build one video. And here we are. So this is basically what the chicken coop looks like, along with the duck coop for significantly less chickens and a low amount of ducks too. Now they also need food. I'd recommend a container, but because you don't really want to be spilling food all over the ground. This is just because of the chickens. And you need food containers, and yeah, you get that stuff. You need something to hold the feed. Obviously you need water. This is the most important part. You have to refill them a couple times a day, or else the water will look like that. So I'm gonna have to refill that once the video's done. They also need other stuff too, like a yard to roam around in, especially a big one like this, because this is where they can find all the greens they want. And I will say, you don't have to provide them with food 24/7. And if there's one thing I'd like to tell you, is that they get about 45% of the food from you, and about 55% of the food from the outdoors. I was just about to say 65%, even though I know that's wrong. Now, there are also other ways to keep them. There's another way to raise them where you don't have to put them away or let them out in the morning. That's automatic coop doors, obviously. They lay a decent amount of eggs. Probably about, in total, a flock of about 12 chickens will probably lay around 1,500 eggs per year or so. And that's just based on pure averages. If every chicken lays about the same number of eggs. But you have different types of chickens that lay different types of eggs. So that number could be as low as 800 or as high as 1,500 to 2,000 in some cases. Alright, so if you did enjoy the video, I have a video right for you on the screen. This is the one that YouTube thinks you will enjoy the most. It's right in the middle of the screen, and right below it, you'll see a subscribe button. That's not required, but I would highly recommend to click it.